right now, whoever maintains your landscape, they have to go to those controllers and physically change each and every one of those stations. So in the case that we're looking at 24 stations here, 24 over there, 24 over there, there's a lot of stations that are involved, and each of those, to change it, requires anywhere from 3 to 5 keystrokes in order to do that. So 3 times 25, 75 keystrokes for just one clock, not to mention the time to look at it in order to determine how much you should be using. So the weather-based timers, what they will do is make a self-adjustment based on whatever kind of weather data it's collecting. And the way that it can collect data is either through an on-site weather station, or it can hook up to the internet, a phone, it can hook up to a radio signal, some type of communication, which would then allow it to so you have turf removal as one of the rebates, weather-based irrigation as the second rebate, and then the third one is the hardware, replacing any kind of brass sprinklers with plastic, more efficient sprinklers, pulling out spray heads out of shrub areas and installing drip.
Okay.
So costs for those things, if you you know of any kind of valves or any kind of problems that are consistent with valves sticking or failing, replacing those valves with more efficient water valves.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few of those. So I was told that grass is probably the most water-consuming plant.
Right.
Right. And so there are programs. I know that there are. Hi, Carmen.
Hello.
We're doing a landscape audit, a water audit.
A water audit?
Yeah,
okay.
This is Miguel. This is Carmen. And so the question we had was, where are all the timers for the watering, for the sprinklers?
Part of the program is I have to identify all of the irrigation timers for you to be able to qualify for the program.
I haven't a clue.
You don't?
No. I know where 2 of them are.
2 of them? That's a start.
They have some station stuff written on the bottom. Which
Okay.
It's to see if it's accurate or not. To try to look at some long stations.
Okay. There's no maximum size for the program, right?
What do you mean?
Well, she said the minimum is 5,000 square feet.
Right. There is no max on that end of it. You can do as much as like this.
Okay.
So, the way the system works is that each of these little numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 17, 18, goes to a location out on the property. And when you turn on any of that station, that's the area that's covered. So right now we're going to turn on station 2.
And go find it.
So you see how all this is shooting, all over the sides of the house? All that stuff is going to break down the stucco eventually and cause rotting to happen. Looks like you guys just kind of refinished it or painted. So all of that stuff can contribute to breaking down rather quickly.
Yeah.
So when you turn on the system, nothing should be shooting up on the houses. Granted, a lot of these, like for example over here, we haven't had it on for more than 2 minutes. You see how that flooding happened right underneath that house there? So that water's really kind of not doing very good. It should be spread out over a larger area. So converting these to...
But even so, that's not even grass there. We just want it on the plant, which could be a drip irrigation.
Correct.
Are you counting the number of sprinkler heads?
Yeah, we're looking for anything broken. We're making a comment based on all of them. Like that one's a faulty nozzle. This one has a radius problem. All those ones in the back are blocked. There's misting occurring. There's flooding, standing water. Wind's a problem. There's runoff. Sprinklers shooting over the sidewalk. There's some missing and dead landscape, and I saw some moss. I thought I saw moss somewhere growing, but you see all that misting and everything? So stand back here for a second. So when you look across this, see all that misting happening? With these heads that are closer to us, these are plastic spray heads. I'll bet most of those misting heads over there are brass heads. So they're emitting a much higher volume of water at a much higher pace. Versus it should look more like this kind of spray heads in the front 3, if you can see that difference. So another thing that happens, like for example with these heads here, see how that water bubbling out around the base of them?
Yeah. It's a waste.
Yeah. So it's just gushing out. So the seals are bad. They shouldn't be, no water should be coming out. The only place the water should be coming out is on the out of the base, out of the nozzle itself. So if you stand here and look at this head, the one behind you, that one over there doing it, this one's doing it. These guys are low and faulty seal. So the low causes a lot of the flood as well.
Okay. Oh, this one looks better, so they should be more like this.
Correct. Generally, landscaping is 75% of the cost incurred by HOAs in a setting like this.
Okay. Wow.
Generally, when they're water.
Now, is each one of these areas that we're doing a station, or is the entire box a station?
Each area is a station.
Okay, so we just got to do 13 of these.
13 of them.
All right, so we may nail a bunch of them off right here. And these little guys are to see how much water we're watering in a given amount of time.
Well, the precipitation rate and the distribution uniformity. So in order to resolve that kind of problem, putting in a 6-inch or at least a 4-inch pop-up would be helpful on that end of it.
Yeah, to get up above the grass.
The problem is, like with the brass heads, so many brass heads that you have, you can't really make a good adjustment on the brass head. So in the case that they're limited to really what they can do with the existing irrigation system until you upgrade it. So as far as, depending on how your contract reads, if they're responsible for fixing broken things and checking, that's truly what you have to look at in the contract. Is this part of their contract? If it's not part of their contract, then, you have to ask them to make it part of it. And obviously, price will probably go up with that.
Okay.
And then like this here, as far as the distance that it's shooting onto the windows, so you see all that rot up top, all this mist over. It didn't happen today, it didn't happen yesterday, it took many years for that kind of rot to occur.
I'm sure the rain also affects that.
And then the wind comes through and it causes, it to blow everywhere else. So making those not touch the house or shoot onto the house is pretty important to help with maintenance.
Okay. Wow, it's quite a bit right there. It's just dripping off of there. This was from about, say, 4 or 5 minutes of water. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we're going to run that one 10, turn it off, run this one 10, turn it off, and that time we'll look at whatever clocks we can find.
And we've hit, what, 6 stations so far?
Only 4 stations.
Oh, so we got 4 more to go, or more.
We got 9 more to go.
9 more.
So based on when this is running, we can probably look at about 2 stations per.
Does it bother you me filming?
No.
Yeah?